Earth, a place we call home, but what if the truth is far darker than we've been told? What if the very land we walk on, the air we breathe, is not just a cradle for life, but a farm, an endless field, harvesting something far more precious than crops? What if your emotions, your fears, your hopes, and even your love are not yours at all, but part of a system designed to feed off your soul? For centuries, we've been told that life is about growth, evolution, and the pursuit of enlightenment. But what if that pursuit is nothing more than a carefully crafted illusion, a spiritual cage disguised as freedom? In this video, we will unravel the chilling truth behind Salvador Freixedo's radical theory, the earth as a spiritual farm, and how your soul is the harvest. You'll learn about the non-human intelligences that feed on your energy, the religions that bind you, and the hidden forces that manipulate your emotions to keep you trapped in an endless cycle. Have you ever wondered why so many feel lost, trapped in a system they can't escape? Why does suffering seem so ingrained in the human experience, as though it's part of some unseen plan? In this journey, we'll uncover the truth behind the soul harvesters, how they operate through your beliefs, and how escaping this system might be the most difficult and most necessary thing you'll ever do. And if you've ever questioned your place in this world, asked yourself, is this all there is? Then stay with us. By the end of this video, you will understand why freeing yourself from this invisible cage is the key to true spiritual liberation. Remember, your soul is worth more than you've ever been told. It's time to reclaim it. Leave a comment below, share your thoughts, and if this resonates with you, don't forget to subscribe for more truths that were never meant to be revealed. Stay tuned, the awakening has only just begun. Earth isn't what you think. It's a system. The world we live in, the earth beneath our feet, is not simply a stage for the grand tale of human evolution. It is far more intricate, far more intentional. Imagine, if you will, that the earth is not the sanctuary we've been told, but a farm, a spiritual farm where we as human beings are the crop. The system is as old as time itself, and we, unknowingly, have been feeding it. This idea is not just a theory. It is the shocking revelation shared by Salvador Freixedo, a former Jesuit priest who dared to question everything he was taught. In his groundbreaking work, The Human Farm, Freixedo reveals the chilling truth. Earth is a harvesting ground. But instead of crops or animals, it is our emotional and spiritual energy that is being cultivated. Every fear you feel, every joy, every sorrow, every moment of love, they are not your experiences to keep. They are harvested, extracted by forces beyond our understanding, forces that are invisible to us, yet so deeply embedded in our reality. This unseen system is designed not to nurture our souls, but to use them, to drain them of their essence for something else entirely. The world around you may look like a bustling, vibrant reality, but beneath it lies an invisible network of control, one that manipulates your beliefs, your perceptions, and your deepest emotions. You may think your pain is a consequence of life's trials, but what if it's not? What if it's all part of the harvest? We experience these intense emotions, whether joy, love, fear, or grief, as a natural part of our existence. But what if those feelings are the very fuel that powers this hidden system? Imagine that every time you feel something deeply, it is consumed by entities who are skilled at manipulating your energy. They feed off it, and in doing so, they keep you trapped in this cycle of emotional highs and lows, never allowing you to break free. The truth, however, is that this system is not only invisible, it is also so deeply embedded within the fabric of human consciousness that we fail to recognize it. We are born into this reality, and from the moment we take our first breath, we are unknowingly programmed to become the perfect livestock for these unseen forces. We worship, we pray, we fear, and we love, all under the guidance of beliefs and systems that have been planted in us from birth. These forces are not bound by physical form, nor are they concerned with our well-being. They are, as Freixedo explains, non-human intelligences, beings that operate outside the realm of ordinary human perception, shaping our experiences to serve their needs. So, why do we continue to accept this cycle of emotional manipulation? Why do we subject ourselves to the whims of forces we cannot see, hear, or touch? It is because we have been conditioned to believe that this is how the world works, that this is the only reality. But what if this isn't true? What if we are being kept in a state of ignorance, prevented from breaking free because we've been told to believe that this is the way it has always been? You may feel a certain tension rising within you as you hear these words, an unsettling feeling in your chest, as if something deep within you knows that there is a truth to this, but you can't quite grasp it. That tension, that discomfort, is the beginning of awareness. It's the first whisper of your soul waking up to the reality of what has been happening all along. And that awakening, while frightening, is the key to freeing yourself from this system. To step into true freedom, you must first acknowledge that the world you see is not the whole truth. Your soul has been bound by beliefs, emotions, and systems that do not serve your highest good, and it's time to break free from them. But in order to do so, you must first recognize the truth that lies hidden beneath the surface. The invisible architects, they don't need worship, only emotion. Imagine a world where gods and angels and demons, are not beings of light or darkness, but entities that exist solely to feed off your energy. These non-human intelligences, as Salvador Freixedo calls them, do not need your worship or reverence. They do not need you to kneel before altars or burn incense in their honor. What they need is something far simpler: your emotion. They have learned to manipulate the very core of your being, your thoughts, your feelings, and your beliefs. These entities are not bound by time or space, and they are not concerned with the traditions and rituals that humans hold dear. Instead, they feed off the most primal energies that flow through your existence: love, fear, pain, joy, anger, anything that stirs an emotional response within you. These emotions, intense and raw, are the sustenance they crave. And what is even more disturbing is that these entities do not require your conscious consent. They feed on you without your knowing, guiding you to certain experiences, certain thoughts, and certain beliefs that will trigger the emotions they need to survive. In this way, they have learned to control you without ever having to directly intervene in your life. They simply create the conditions for you to produce the energy they seek. Think about it. How often do you find yourself caught in cycles of emotional highs and lows? How often do you feel as if your emotions are controlling you instead of the other way around? This is not by chance. This is part of the design. You are being led step by step into emotional states that allow these entities to feed off your energy. But here's the real question. What if this has been happening your entire life? What if every moment of joy, sorrow, love, or fear you've experienced has been part of a larger plan? A plan that exists beyond your understanding, orchestrated by beings that care nothing for your well-being, only for the energy you produce? This is where the real challenge lies. These invisible architects of our world have crafted such a masterful system that we don't even recognize it for what it is. We think of our emotions as natural, as part of the human experience, but what if those emotions are the very tools used to trap us in this cycle? To break free, you must first understand the truth of these entities and their role in your life. You must become aware of how your emotions are being manipulated and learn to regain control over your energy. This is not an easy path, but it is the only one that leads to true liberation. When you begin to recognize the ways in which these forces are at work in your life, you can begin to withdraw your energy from the system that feeds off it. It's time to reclaim your power. Your emotions are yours, and no one has the right to take them from you. Through awareness and conscious action, you can break free from this invisible control and take back your sovereignty. The journey is not easy, and the truth may be difficult to accept. But it is only by seeing the truth that we can begin to heal, to awaken, and to reclaim our rightful place in the universe. As you ponder these words, ask yourself, how much of your life has been shaped by forces you cannot see? How much of your emotional energy has been consumed without your consent? The answers to these questions may be unsettling, but they are the first step on the path to liberation. And the path is clear. Regain control of your energy, free your mind from the beliefs that bind you, and learn to live in alignment with your true essence. This is just the beginning. The truth is vast, and the awakening is just starting. Stay tuned for the next part of this journey, where we will delve even deeper into the hidden forces at work and uncover the shocking truths that have been concealed for so long. Your soul is waiting for you to wake up. The time is now. Religion, the most elegant cage ever built. There is a truth that most of us do not dare to acknowledge. The very religions that we turn to for salvation, for enlightenment, for answers, are the same systems that keep us trapped. The idea that religion could be a trap, a cage, a system built not for our liberation, but for our captivity, is difficult to stomach. But this is the frightening reality that Freixedo presents. And it's a reality that is so deeply woven into the fabric of human existence that it is almost impossible to see without first stepping back and taking a long, hard look. Religion, in its purest form, is meant to be a guide, a pathway to understanding the divine, a tool to help us transcend our earthly struggles and connect with something greater. But what if, instead of offering freedom, it has been subtly designed to keep us locked within the boundaries of our own ignorance? What if the gods we worship, the rituals we perform, and the beliefs we hold so dear are not tools of liberation, but mechanisms of control? Consider the structure of most major religions. There is always an invisible, omnipotent being at the top, a god, a force, a higher power that demands our submission, our devotion, and often our suffering. We are taught to believe that through devotion, through sacrifice, through obedience, we will earn our place in the afterlife. We will gain spiritual growth. We will reach the ultimate salvation. And yet, for all our devotion, for all our sacrifices, we never seem to reach that final goal. Instead, we are left constantly striving, constantly yearning, constantly feeling incomplete, as if the prize we seek is always just out of reach. Why is this the case? Why do we spend our lives worshipping and sacrificing for something that, in the end, never seems to fulfill us? The answer lies in the fact that what we are really worshipping is not a benevolent God, but the very system that has been constructed to keep us tethered. The rituals, the prayers, the sacrifices, all of them are part of a larger plan to keep us emotionally invested, to keep us feeding the system that thrives off our energy. Take a moment to reflect on your own life. How many times have you felt that deep yearning for something more, something greater? How many times have you prayed or meditated or sacrificed something dear, hoping for a glimpse of divine enlightenment, only to be left feeling unfulfilled, lost, or even more confused? This is not because there is something wrong with you. It is because you are caught in a cycle that has been carefully designed to prevent you from breaking free. This cycle is built on guilt, fear, and hope, the very emotions that these systems feed on. Every time you pray in fear, every time you sacrifice in the hope of reward, you are feeding this unseen system. And this is where the real tragedy lies. Religion, which should be the pathway to freedom, has instead become the walls of our prison. It is not the faith itself that is flawed, but rather the way in which it has been used to control us. The divine, in its purest form, does not require our worship. It does not need us to grovel at its feet or offer sacrifices to prove our devotion. The divine, true and free, only asks for us to be free. Free from the chains of fear, free from the guilt that binds us, free from the system that exploits our emotions. Yet, this is not the reality we live in. Instead, we are taught that the only way to reach spiritual enlightenment is through submission. Submission to a higher power. Submission to authority. Submission to doctrines, dogmas, and rituals that keep us chained to the very system that seeks to feed on us. And it is this submission, this unquestioning loyalty, that prevents us from seeing the truth. We are too busy worshipping false gods to realize that we are the ones being sacrificed. But what if there is another way? What if the key to liberation is not in submission, but in breaking free from the cycle of emotional manipulation that religion has perpetuated? What if true spiritual enlightenment comes not from obedience, but from awakening to the fact that we have been caught in a trap? The first step in this awakening is to question everything. Question the rituals, the dogmas, the beliefs that have been instilled in you from birth. Ask yourself why you believe what you believe. Ask yourself why you worship what you worship. And most importantly, ask yourself who benefits from your devotion. Who benefits from your emotional energy? When you begin to ask these questions, you will start to see the truth that has been hidden from you for so long. And when you see it, you will begin to reclaim your power, your sovereignty, and your connection to the divine, not through submission, but through conscious, intentional awakening. It is time to break free from the cage. It is time to stop feeding the system that seeks to control us. The divine does not need your worship. It only needs your awareness. And when you wake up to the truth, you will realize that you have always had the power to escape. The power to free your soul from the chains that have bound it for so long. How reincarnation, the reset button of the farm. There is a belief, widespread across many cultures and religions, that death is not the end, but merely a transition, a journey from one life to the next. We are told that reincarnation is a gift, a chance for our souls to learn, to evolve, to become better with each new life. But what if this belief is not the truth? What if reincarnation is not a gift, but a trap, an eternal reset button that keeps us locked in the same cycle over and over again, feeding the very system that seeks to harvest our energy? Salvador Freixedo presents a shocking perspective on reincarnation. Instead of viewing it as a path to spiritual evolution, he suggests that it is nothing more than a mechanism designed to recycle our souls, to keep us from escaping the system that controls us. According to Freixedo, when we die, our souls are not free to ascend to higher planes of existence, but are instead drawn back into the material world, reborn into a new body with no memory of our past lives. We are sent back into the farm, reset and ready to be harvested once again. This is a chilling thought, especially when we consider the overwhelming number of people who believe in reincarnation, who hope that death is not the end, but merely a pause in the journey. But what if instead of moving forward, we are being pulled back into the system every time we die? What if our souls are not given the chance to evolve, but are simply recycled, our memories erased, and our emotions harvested once again? Take a moment to reflect on the idea of reincarnation from this perspective. How many people do you know who feel like they are stuck in the same cycle, repeating the same mistakes, suffering the same pains, and never truly making progress? It is as if they are living the same life over and over again, trapped in a loop that they can never break free from. Freixedo suggests that this is no accident. The system that controls us ensures that our souls are not allowed to ascend, that we are not allowed to break free from the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Our souls are kept tethered to the material world, to the emotional energy that we produce, and we are sent back into the cycle of reincarnation, not by choice, but by force. And what if this is happening to you? What if the struggles you face in this life are not the result of your past actions, but the result of a system designed to keep you trapped in the cycle of emotional harvest? What if your soul is being recycled, your memories erased, and your energy used to feed the unseen forces that control us all? This is the ultimate trap, the ultimate reset button. And the most terrifying part of it all is that we are unaware of it. We are told that reincarnation is a natural part of the cosmic order, that it is the way of the universe. But what if it is nothing more than a system designed to keep us under control? What if, instead of being a path to spiritual evolution, reincarnation is just another layer of the harvest? The first step in breaking free from this cycle is to recognize that it exists. To realize that your soul is not bound by the laws of reincarnation, but by the laws of a system that seeks to control you. When you awaken to this truth, you can begin to break the cycle, to stop feeding the system, and to free your soul from the endless loop of birth and rebirth. It is time to reclaim your soul. It is time to break free from the harvest. And the first step is to wake up, to see the truth that has been hidden from you for so long. Awareness is the only exit, but it comes at a price. To escape this system, the first thing you must do is become aware. The key to liberation lies in the recognition of what is happening, of how your emotions are being manipulated, how your beliefs are being used against you, and how the system has so cleverly ensnared your soul in a web of illusions. But awareness alone is not enough. Once you see the truth, you will find that the system will do everything in its power to keep you trapped. It will fight back, because the moment you become aware of the trap, it loses its power over you. Awareness is not just about understanding the system, it is about seeing through the lies and illusions that have been fed to you since birth. It is about realizing that the reality you have been living in is not the only reality. Your emotions, your fears, your loves, your anger, your joy have been carefully cultivated and harvested by non-human intelligences that have been manipulating you from the shadows. But here's the truth. Your power is within you. It always has been. The system cannot control you unless you allow it. Once you wake up, once you recognize what is happening, you begin to reclaim your power. This is the beginning of true freedom, the freedom to live without fear, the freedom to choose your own beliefs, the freedom to feel your emotions without being controlled by them. However, this freedom does not come without a price. The price is your attachment to the illusions you have lived by. The price is your willingness to let go of everything you thought was true. The price is your surrender of all the beliefs, rituals, and dogmas that have kept you in this cage. The price is the willingness to question everything and to step into the unknown. But this price is worth paying. For once you break free from the system, you will experience a freedom that few have ever known. You will experience a clarity of mind and spirit that is beyond anything you can imagine. You will be able to see the world as it truly is, without the distortion of fear, guilt, and hope. You will see the divine not as an external force that demands your submission, but as an internal presence that guides you toward true freedom. And this is the most powerful truth of all. The divine does not need you to worship it. The divine does not need you to bow down in fear or offer sacrifices in exchange for favor. The divine only needs you to awaken, to see the truth, and to live in accordance with that truth. When you do this, you become free. And when you are free, you will realize that you were never meant to be controlled in the first place. So, ask yourself, what are you still holding on to? What beliefs, what attachments are you afraid to let go of? The answer to this question is the key to your freedom. If you want to escape the harvest, you must be willing to give up everything you thought you knew. You must be willing to awaken, to break free, and to live a life that is truly your own. Who are the others like us? Hidden rebels across history. The journey to awakening is not an easy one, and it is not a journey that is taken alone. Throughout history, there have been individuals who have broken free from the system, individuals who have seen the truth and chosen to live in accordance with it. These individuals are the rebels, the ones who have dared to question everything, who have dared to see through the veil of illusion, and who have chosen to walk a different path. But these rebels are not the ones who are celebrated in history. They are not the ones who are remembered by the masses. In fact, many of them have been erased from the pages of history, their names forgotten, their contributions hidden. These rebels are the ones who have spoken the truths that others were too afraid to hear, and they have paid the price for it. Take, for example, the mystics and prophets throughout history who have challenged the established religious systems. People like William Blake, who saw the divine not as an external authority, but as a force within the individual. People like the Gnostics, who believed that true salvation came not through submission, but through knowledge and awakening. These individuals were not celebrated but persecuted, their ideas dismissed as heresy, their voices silenced by the very systems they sought to expose. Yet despite the persecution, despite the attempts to erase their ideas, these rebels continue to inspire those who seek the truth. Their words echo through the centuries, reminding us that we are not alone in our quest for freedom. They remind us that we are not the first to question the system, and that we will not be the last. But these rebels are not just figures from the past. They are present in our lives today. They are the ones who refuse to conform, who challenge the status quo, who dare to see the world as it truly is. They are the ones who are awakening to the truth, who are breaking free from the systems that seek to control us, and who are helping to lead the way for others to follow. The journey to freedom is not an easy one, but it is a journey that we do not have to take alone. There are others who are walking the same path, others who have already broken free and are now helping others to do the same. These rebels are the light in the darkness, the ones who show us the way. So, as you walk this path, remember that you are not alone. There are others who have walked it before you, and there are others who will walk it with you. The rebellion is not over. It has only just begun. What if it's all true? A terrifying thought that liberates. Now, we come to the most terrifying thought of all. What if everything Freixedo says is true? What if Earth is indeed a farm, and we are the crop? What if the system that has controlled us for millennia has been hiding in plain sight, using our beliefs, our emotions, and our very souls as fuel? What if all the pain, all the suffering, all the longing we feel is part of a much larger plan to harvest our energy and keep us in a perpetual state of bondage? This is not an easy truth to face. It is uncomfortable. It is unsettling. It shakes the very foundation of everything we have ever believed. But as terrifying as it may be, it is also liberating. Because once we see the truth, once we realize what has been happening, we can begin to break free from the system that has held us captive for so long. The first step in this process is to stop feeding the system. Every time you give in to fear, every time you surrender to guilt, every time you worship false gods, you feed the system. You give it the energy it craves. But when you stop, when you begin to see through the illusion, you withdraw your consent. And once you stop feeding it, the system loses its power over you. This is the true meaning of liberation. It is not about escaping the physical world. It is about escaping the psychological and emotional grip that the system has on you. It is about reclaiming your energy, your power, and your sovereignty. It is about living a life that is truly your own, free from the manipulation and control of those who seek to feed off you. But here is the most liberating part of all. Once you see the truth, once you awaken, you will realize that you were never meant to be trapped in the first place. You were always meant to be free. Your soul was always meant to soar, to live in alignment with your true purpose. The system that seeks to harvest your energy is not your natural state. It is an artificial construct, a lie that has been imposed upon you. And now, you have the power to break free. You have the power to live a life that is true to your soul, to live a life that is not controlled by fear, guilt, or manipulation. The truth is terrifying, but it is also the key to your liberation. So let this truth be your guide. Let it light your path, and as you walk it, know that you are not alone. There are others who have awakened, others who have broken free, and others who will walk beside you as you reclaim your power and your sovereignty. The harvest is over. The time for freedom has come. As we approach the end of this journey, it is important to take a moment and reflect on everything we have uncovered. For so long, many of us have walked through life blindfolded, guided by beliefs and ideologies that, at their core, may not have been meant to free us, but to keep us enslaved. The truth, as unsettling as it may be, is that we have been living in a system designed to harvest our very souls. Our emotions, our thoughts, and our energy have been the crops in a field we never realized we were part of. But now, through awareness, we can begin to see the system for what it truly is. We can begin to break free from the chains that have held us in place for so long. We can rise above the cycle of emotional manipulation, the cycles of fear, guilt, and false hope that have shaped our existence. The path to liberation is not easy, but it is clear. It begins with the understanding that the world we see is not all there is. Beyond the veil of illusion lies the truth that we are not slaves but sovereign beings, capable of reclaiming our power, our energy, and our soul. For those who have walked with us through this journey, for those who have felt the stirrings of truth within their hearts, I encourage you to continue questioning, continue seeking, and continue walking this path of awakening. You are not alone. The truth has always been there, waiting for you to discover it. It is time to break free from the illusion, to stop feeding the system, and to live a life that is truly yours. As we continue to explore these hidden truths, I invite you to join me on this journey. If you feel that this video has touched your soul, if it has helped you to see the light in the midst of darkness, if it has given you a sense of clarity, I ask you to support this channel. Your support, whether big or small, is a vital part of this movement. Every like, every comment, every subscription is a piece of energy that helps fuel the work we are doing together. If this video has inspired you, if it has opened your eyes to the unseen forces at play in your life, I invite you to leave a comment below. Let's engage in a conversation about these truths, share our insights, and learn from each other. Together we can create a community of awakened souls, bound not by fear, but by the power of truth, awareness, and freedom. If you found value in this content, if it has brought healing to your heart, I would be deeply grateful if you could show your support. Your energy, your contributions, no matter how small, are priceless to me. They allow me to continue creating content that seeks to enlighten, to awaken, and to heal. It is through your support that this mission continues to grow and reach more souls, helping them to break free from the chains that have held them for far too long. We are all in this together. The more we awaken, the more we shine. And as we shine, we illuminate the path for others to follow. Your energy is a gift to this community, and together we can continue to share the truth that sets us free. So, thank you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for being here, for walking this path with me, and for being a part of this awakening. The journey is far from over, in fact it's just beginning, but with each step we take, we get closer to the truth. And with each truth we uncover, we are one step closer to freedom. If you feel this message resonates with you, if it has sparked something within your soul, please give it the support it deserves. Let's continue to awaken together, to shed light on the unseen, and to break free from the chains of illusion. Your support means more than you know. Thank you for being part of this journey, for being part of this movement, and for choosing to reclaim your power. The light is within you. Let it shine brightly.